Namah Vishwadaya Krishna Vistaya Bhutale Shrimati Krishna Samitinami. Namah Vishwadaya Krishna Vistaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Samitinami. Namaste Saraswati Devi Bhavani Charini Vishesha Shunvari Pashata Vishwa. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So today
Hare
we go
Krishna.
through Brahma Samhita. So we first recite the first verse and then we move to the 29th. Maybe to go a little bit quicker, we can just one by one read one verse only.
Yes,
Then,
yes. Good
yeah,
idea.
then we'll be able to read all
The
the
whole
verses.
purport. Yeah, good idea.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
I wanted to ask you, sometimes I am reading and someone else start. So how to stop that? Like we make sure who is reading after one after another.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I agree.
Sometimes, and I get a bit
Yeah.
confused then. Sorry,
No, it's
Aruna
true.
Mataji.
It's true.
Okay, so each time I'll say who will read, so that's better.
Yeah,
No one will
that's
get
good.
confused.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
just say the name, maybe much
Yeah.
better than.
Okay.
Okay,
yeah,
So
thank
I
you.
start.
yeah, yeah.
Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarvakarana Karanam. Krishna, who is known as Govinda, he is the supreme Godhead. He has an eternal blissful spiritual body. He is the origin of all. He has no other origin, and he is the prime cause of all causes. So, Nabi Prabhu, would you like to do the 29th verse?
Yeah, okay. Oh, good. Chintamani prakarasatma sukalpavaksha lakshavateshu shurabhira vibhalayantam lakshmi sahasra satasambhama sevamanam govindamadi purusham namaham bhajami.
And the translation.
Oh, yeah. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, the first progenitor, who is tending the cows, yielding all desire in abodes built with spiritual gems, surrounded by millions of purpose trees, always served with great reverence and affection by hundreds and thousands of Lakshmis or Gopis.
Thank you. Lokeshwar, would you like to do the 30th one?
Yes, Mataji. Vedum Tvanantamaravinda Dalayatakszam Bharavatam Samasitam Buddhasudarangam Kandarpakotikamani Vishesha Shobham Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Vajami.
So the translation?
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is adept in playing on his flute with blooming eyes like lotus petals, with head decked with peacock feathers, with the figure of beauty tinged with the hue of blue clouds, and his unique loveliness charming millions of cupids.
Thank you. Prabha Mataji, would you like to try this one? 31st.
Yeah. Excuse me. Hare Krishna. Alola Chandraka Lasada Mila Vamasi Ratnaya Gadama Parana Ke Likala Vilasam Syamatri Bangara Liatam Nityana Parakrasam Govindamadi Purusammatama Abhaya Bhajami Ahama Bhajami.
Can you read the translation?
Yeah. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, round whose neck is swinging a garland of flowers, beautiful filled with the moon locket, whose two hands are adorned with the flute and jeweled ornaments, who always reveals in the pastime of love, whose graceful threefold bending form of the Sayam Sundarara is eternally manifest. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you. Sitaram Prabhu, can you recite 30 seconds?
Text Sakitu Mataji.
Yes,
Haribol.
Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu.
Angami yasya sakalandri avriti manti pasyanti panti kalayanti siram jaganti ananda chinmaya sad ujvala vikrahasya govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Hare
And the
Krishna.
translation?
Yes, okay. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, whose transcendental form is full of bliss, truth, substantially, and is just full of the most dazzling splendor. Each of the limbs of that transcendental figure possesses in himself the full-fledged function of all the organ and eternally sees, maintains, and manifests the infinite universes, both spiritual and mundane.
Thank you,
Hare Krishna.
Prabhu. Dhananjani will do the next one.
Hmm.
33. Advaitam achyuttam anadimanantarupam Adyam Purana Purusham Navayovanam cha Vedeshu Durlabhamadurlabhamatma Bhakto Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Translation: I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is inaccessible to the Vedas, but obtainable by pure unalloyed devotion of the soul, who is without a second, who is not subject to decay, is without a beginning, whose form is endless, who is the beginning, and the eternal Purush. Yet he is a person possessing the beauty of blooming youth. Chitra, can you do the next one? 34.
पन्थास्तु कोटिशतवत्सरसम्प्रगम्यो वायोरथापि मनसो मुनिपुङ्गवानां सोऽप्यस्ति यत्प्रपदशिम्नि अविञ्चित्य गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि.
Translation:
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord. Only the tip of the toe of whose lotus feet is approached by the yogi who aspire after the transcendental and betake themselves to pranayam by drilling the respiration, or by the jnani who try to find out the non-differentiated Brahman by the process of elimination of the mundane extending over thousands of millions of years.
Thank you. Lokeshwar, can you do the next one? 35.
Yes, Mataji. Eko piya sora chayitum jagadandakotim yachaktirasti jagandachayyatantaha andatarasta paramanu chayantarastham govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami.
Translation:
He is an undifferentiated entity, as there is no distinction between potency and the possessor thereof. In his work of creation of millions of worlds, his potency remains inseparable. All the universes exist in him, and he is present in his fullness in every one of the atoms that are scattered throughout the universe, at one and at the same time, such as the primeval Lord whom I adore.
Thank you. Sitaram Prabhu, text 36.
Yes, Mataji. To read it.
Yes.
Yat bhava bhavita dhiyo mamujasta taiva samprapriya rupa mahimasasna yana bhusaha तेर्यम एव हि गावा प्रथितास्तु भन्ति. Hare Krishna. Govindamadipurusham tamaham bhajami. Haribol.
Translation?
Yes. I adore the same Govinda, the primeval Lord, in whose praise men who are imbued with devotion sing the mantra suktas told by the Veda. By gaining this appropriate beauty, greatness, thrones, convenience, and ornaments. Purpose? No.
No, Prabhu. So we'll go to verse 37 and then everyone can recite 37.
Good, good.
आनन्द चिन्मय रस प्रतिभाविताभिः ताभिर्य एव निजरूपतया कलाभिः गोलोक एव निवसत्यखिलात्मभूतो गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि. Yes.
Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavitabhis Taviya Eva Nijarupataya Kalavi Goloka Eva Nivasatya Kilatma Bhuto Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami.
Lokeshwar?
Yes, Mataji. Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavitabhis Tabhirya Eva Nijarupataya Kalabhi Goloka Eva Nivasati Akhilatma Bhuto Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami.
Prabha Mataji? Yeah, muted.
आनंद सी सिनमाया रसा प्रतिभ प्रतिभावती ताहि स ताभिरया इवानी जारुपताया कलाम्बि गोलाका इवा निवासति अकिंदलतमाभूतो गोविंदवदि पुरुषमतम अहम भजामि. हरे कृष्णा.
Sitaram Prabhu?
Yes, Mataji.
Can you recite verse 37?
Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibha Vistabhi Tabhirya Eva Nijarupataya Kalabhi Goloka Eva Nivasaha Akilama Bhuto Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami.
Dhananjani?
आनंद चिन्मय रस प्रतिभाविताभिः ताभिर्य एव निजरूपतया कलाभिः गोलोक एव निवसत्यखिलात्मभूतो गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि.
Chitra?
आनंद चिन्मय रस प्रतिभाविताभिः ताभिर्य एव निजरूपतया कलाभिः गोलोक एव निवसत्यखिलात्मभूतो गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि.
Can you read the translation too?
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, residing in his own realm Golok with Radha, resembling his own spiritual figure, the embodiment of the ecstatic potency possessed of the 64 artistic activities, in the company of her confidants, Sakhi, embodiments of the extensions of a bodily form, permeated and vitalized by his ever blissful spiritual wrath.
Thank you. So the purport is rather long, so we've dipped some paragraphs. So the first paragraph, the 64 rasas are enumerated, and then how these are visible, eternally visible in Goloka, Vrindavan, but only some are visible in Goloka on this planet. So we continue. Yeah. It is only those settled souls who are excessively addicted to worldliness that are devoid of the devotional eye. Of them, some are enmeshed by the variegatedness of the deluding energy, while others aspire after self-annihilation under the influence of centrifugal knowledge. Though they might have a view of the mundanely manifested pastimes of the Supreme Lord, they can have only a material conception of those visible pastimes. This conception being devoid of transcendental reality. Hence, the realization of Goloka appears in proportion to eligibility due to the degree of one's self-realization. The underlying principle is this, that though Gokul is as holy and free from dross of Goloka, still it is manifested on the mundane plane by the influence of the cheat potencies, Yogmaya. In visible and non-visible matter, the transcendental regions, there is no impurity, contamination, and imperfection inherent in the world of limitation. Only there is some difference in the matter of realization in proportion to the self-realization of the seekers after the Absolute. Impurity, unwholesomeness, foreign elements, illusion, nuisance, unholiness, utter inadequacy, insignificance, grossness. These appertain to the I, intellect, mind, and ego, certified by the material nature of the conditioned souls. They have nothing to do with the essential nature of transcendence. The more one is free from these blocks, the more one is capable of realizing the unqualified absolute. The truth who has been revealed by the scriptures is free from dross. But the realizations of the seekers of the knowledge of these qualities are with or without flow in accordance with the degree of the individual realization. Those 64 arts that have been enumerated above do in reality exist unstintedly only in Goloka. Unwholesomeness, insignificance, grossness are found in those arts in accordance with the degree of self-realization on the part of the aspirants after the knowledge of the Absolute. According to Srila Rupa and Srila Sanatan, all those pastimes that have been visible in Gokul exist in all purity and free from all tinge of limitation in Goloka. So the transcendental autocratic paramoship also exists in Goloka, in inconceivable purity, judged by the same standard and reasoning. All manifestation by the cheat potency, Yogmaya, are pure. So as the above paramoship is the creation of Yogmaya, it is necessarily free from all contamination and appertains to the absolute reality. Let us pause to consider what the absolute reality is in himself. Shall we stop here, Prabhu? And then changing little bit the topic here.
Yes, we could. Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Because it's quite a long purport. But I like the point he made about 64 arts. They're only fully manifest in Golok. So even in Vaikuntha and Ayodhya, these are not fully manifested. Interesting. So, thank you. Anything you'd like to share from the purport?
This one is very important here. So the realization of the seekers of knowledge of these realities are with or without flow in accordance to the degree of their individual realization. So that's very important. Devotees, depending on their degree of purity, then they can really understand these. So we are affected by our intellect, mind, and ego. So as conditioned souls, we are unable to really understand all the pastimes, leelas of the Lord.
True. Very interesting. Yes, good point. Well, thank you for sharing that. Any questions, any comments? Not easy. But it's interesting to read Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati's purports. It's so different from Prabhupada's in one sense, because always the level of English is different.
Oh, the level English. I've never come across this word. Unstinctedly.
Uninstantly, yeah.
Tinted.
Yeah, true. Good. Okay, let's make a stop there. Brahma Samhita ki jai.
Okay.
Thank you, Karuna.
Thank you.
Let's stop the recording. 1 second.